Many people don't know that they can actually roll their super in from a master fund into their own self-managed super fund, combining their balances and using the power of leveraging or borrowing to be able to buy tangible real estate and pay off a property far quicker than they would their own family home. Somewhere between 5 to 10 years for the average person, earning $100,000 to $200,000 as a family with a $200,000 super balance. The first steps are becoming interested in the fact that they can do that and educating themselves as to how they go about that. And that's where the New Wealth team works in so well with us. My role as an accountant for many, many years has seen the frustrations of my client database year in, year out, checking their super balances and finding they've either stagnated or going backwards without their control over where their investments are, how they're invested, or who their advisor is. What we do is remove that ambiguity and place those super funds into their own control. Part of that means parking it into cash from their master funds. The other part means finding an asset class that is tangible and allows for long-term growth and also the compound effect of paying down a loan. And that's what New Wealth do. Property is a fantastic tangible asset class. A lot of people understand it, especially if they're investing in a place like Perth because they've lived here. The education on that component is to do with the work side of things. People are coming in from overseas, from other states for the work that Perth seems to continually deliver, and we've got a shortage here at the moment. So super balances are able to buy property with a higher deposit than if you were to buy it in your own back pocket because of the time and the compound effect of their balance. What we mean by that, starting with the loan side of things, is if you're paying off your own family loan after tax, you've only got the one income, potentially two, doing that. What we do here is have 3 revenue streams paying off a loan: a high deposit from the combined super balances, plus your contributions from your employer and your spouse, plus the net rent on the property. When you put those 4 things together, you're often paying off a loan, instead of over 30 years, between 5 and 10 using those parameters. No, that's correct. So once you hit retirement age, which can be dependent on when you were born, basically if you still own that property and you're still receiving rent and you're retired, it's tax-free. If you then sell that property and want to cash out, it is also tax-free. The pain points and the frustration that they really have is that they go to work every single day. They put away 10.5% currently under the legislation that's guided by the government there, and they get back to me every year and wonder why their balance is either stagnated or gone backwards. And so we think, well, where's the control in that? Why are we throwing a dart hoping that when we hit retirement age, we're going to be able to retire with this magical balance there? Why is it that we put it to someone that we've never met before and don't understand where they're investing it? Why is it that COVID and the Ukraine, the GFC, why are all these excuses being made for why we can't retire when we want to retire? You should be able to go to work every day, put your 10% to 15%, depending on whether you're salary sacrificing, into your own fund and at least compound that in cash without having it disappear with things outside your control. It's a highly regulated environment. There are a lot of rules in place here to protect people from doing the wrong thing. Because at the end of the day, this is where the government can remove the cost of providing for pensioners, which is taxes to everyone who goes to work every day, by allowing people to control their super. If you access that super before retirement, if you try and take those funds out, there are high costs, sometimes criminal, for doing things like that. So the warning for people out there who want to do this is, if you allow time and your process as it unfolds, you can achieve those goals. If you do the wrong thing, you'll be harshly penalised. %. You cannot move into that property whatsoever. This is to provide for your retirement, not to release early benefits towards your own personal living lifestyle. The power of leveraging within a self-managed super fund is that you can have up to 6 members. You can do it on your own if you're a single bachelor wanting to roll their super over. You can do it with your spouse or your partner. You can do it with family and friends. So what that does is allow the leveraging power of whatever balances you have pro-rated in that group to be able to compound and leverage against to buy more assets or buy more valuable assets. Absolutely it does, especially when they're being able to pay off a loan using those multiple sources of revenue, which are up to 6 members, employer contributions, plus rent on properties. Yes, absolutely it does. What happens is when you combine your super funds, which recently we did one with the parents and their youngest child, they've combined their super knowing that they want to compound family wealth over time. As the parents go towards retirement age, what happens is you can either sell the property, which we've spoken about, or alternatively, you can have it so that the revenue streams are putting through to pension mode or to accumulation mode. They're treated in different tax advantages of each. Pension mode tax-free, accumulation mode, it's still at the 15% rate. It's called streaming of income. Yes, they can. There are multiple pension funds in Australia, or superannuation funds, that allow rollovers to happen into the master funds. The way I like to approach those is to use the power of those bigger funds to be able to make it easier and quicker and more efficient. Once they're in Australia, depending on whether they're coming from using the UK as an example, a government-based job as opposed to a private-based job will depend on how those funds are released in accordance with taxation legislation there. However, once they're in Australia, we can then roll them out of the master funds into a self-managed to invest according to the way the members want under their investment strategy. A rollover is extremely important within super because what it does is allow you to change your superannuation balances from one master fund to another or to your own self-managed super fund. All it means is that those benefits and insurance policies, if they're there, can be rolled over from one fund to another, and one fund, industry fund or any other particular self-managed super fund has its own rules that govern the way that they invest. When it's your own self-managed super fund, it's up to you to form that investment strategy and deploy those assets as you see fit. I've been in the accounting and tax space for nearly 20 years. I studied accounting and tax and law when I was at university over at Curtin Uni. My experience with this industry has been both positive and negative. I've had negative experiences in the real estate industry, surrounded by a lot of cowboys, a lot of people who do the wrong thing. But overall, I feel that superannuation and the choice of a longevity of tangible real estate asset selection is a positive thing for people who want to take control of their destiny for their retirement. The in-between period is up to you guys to go to work and do your everyday thing and place it into the loans, into the compound effect of cash, paying down that mortgage and compounding the number of properties that you do own within super. People need to realise that they are governing their own retirement benefits. They need to be aware that they are doing the right thing. They're going to be the directors of their own corporate trustees, that they're providing for their own retirement. But once they've got over this part in their mind, the remainder of the questions such as insurances, looking after the property, number of visits, that's where, just like owning any other property outside of super, you defer to the professionals. You have a property manager looking after the investment. You have a bank manager or a broker who's looking after the loan. You have someone doing the repairs and maintenance, or a strata group if it's part of a strata company. Those things are all passed on to different people. The management for yourself is really involving them to get the most efficient process for you so that your touch points are as minimal as possible. FIFO workers stereotypically have been looked upon as earning good money and wasting it, unfortunately. So down the track, if we can train people, especially in the FIFO industry, to think, we're in this role for a set period of time, we need to make the most of this money we're earning. What is the best way to go about it? Well, look, outside of super, that's your budget, independent according to your family needs. Inside super, you don't have any discretion on that. So why not put it towards something that is growth related, that is tangible, and something that you can realise and always look back on, knowing your time in the mining industry has paid off that property in 5 to 7 years, regardless of what happens with your family and your spending habits outside of super. So I've got a client currently who's 24. He's saved a lot of money. He's working for BHP and earning good money now, so he can prove that he can service those loans. But he's been part of the first homeowners scheme within superannuation that the government actually offers. So for him, who doesn't have the right amount to open a self-managed super fund at the moment, he's contributing extra into his own superannuation, knowing that he'll be able to pull that out and be matched by government incentives to buy their first home, which is a huge bonus for the younger people in the younger generation when property prices are climbing so rapidly. The core frustrations I have every day from my own client database is the fear and the unknown of what this retirement looks like when so many variables outside their control continue to eradicate and erode their value. COVID, GFC, Ukraine, all these things continually pop up with more regularity in the world that we live in right now. And the only thing that most people know and understand is that they can go up every morning and take their job and get paid their super. But where does that actually go? To which fund? To what investment? Where is it actually being put? So for me, it's really trying to encourage and to educate these people that there is another choice. And if you want to control those flow of funds, you absolutely can. If you want to find out more, get in touch with the New Wealth team today.